Welcome to the Hershey Podcast. We have our co-host back this week.
What's up?
January, I mean.
Yeah, I traveled a lot this last week, actually.
Yeah, you did. Where'd you go?
Are you feeling that still?
I am. I'm feeling the need for the babysitter to come by.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Last weekend, I went to St. Louis and Indianapolis, and they were amazing events and amazing people. And I was really surprised by what a great downtown Indianapolis has. It was great. Actually, during that event, when everyone was in the Harmony Circles, I needed some fresh juice. So I walked a half a mile in some light rain and then a half mile back and got juice. And I was wearing Croc sandals and a dress.
I know when you told me you did that, I was shocked because
it felt good. It just felt really, really good to get some fresh air and just get movement. And it was nice. So did that. And because it was back-to-back events, I was gone, as you know, 4 days.
I do know.
And I was back this week. And then I just went to Raleigh. I've heard people say it different. How do you say it?
I think I say Raleigh, North Carolina.
I say Raleigh, but this weekend I heard people saying Raleigh. So the event was actually in Chapel Hill, but that was a short trip. I came back literally. I flew for 5 or 6 hours right after the event, but I wanted to be home that night, so that was nice. But that was an incredible event too. Everyone was just so sweet and so just excited, and it's incredibly powerful to come together face to face. And I think the energy and the tone that we set is everything. And so obviously I'm in charge of it and I speak, and the only speaker right now at these, and just setting this tone of solidarity and supporting and validating one another even through our differences. And people feel that. And it's just beautiful to witness every single time. So that was really cool. The traveling is exhausting. It's really, really hard. And I actually hate being away from you guys, but they fill my cup in a way too. And they help me continue to do what I do. So it was really cool.
Yeah, that's good.
It was a couple of really great events. I'm still recovering though.
Yeah.
I know you are too for different reasons, but taking it easy yesterday and today.
Well, and also too, part of the difficulty with traveling when we do these events is that Austin is not a very great airport to fly out of.
Most of the time I'm having to do connecting flights, and that extends everything. And I actually really don't like to fly. So I'm used to it now. So I don't panic anymore, but I don't love it. So anytime there's turbulence, I'm like, I'm offended by it. Like, I think it's rude. So yeah. And when it's one of those I have to make connections in Houston a lot. So if the flight between Houston and Austin is particularly bumpy, I get really pissed. I'm like, if I die when I could have just driven to Houston, I'm going to be pissed.
It's a 3-hour drive.
I'm going to be a pissed dead January. Like, it's not going to be, no. So, yeah, but.
I'm coming back to whoop someone's ass.
That's right. No doubt about it. Oh my gosh. No doubt about it.
Yeah, a straight through flight out of Austin is
it's
damn
hard
near
to find.
impossible.
It's hard to find. We had straight flights to Phoenix recently, and that was so refreshing. So nice. But yeah, so next we're rescheduling Tuscaloosa for December, and so next is Calgary, which has been sold out for some time. So if any of you are listening to this and can make it to Calgary, if you go on the event page on Facebook, there's a few people trying to sell and transfer their tickets, so you might be able to grab one there. But other than that, it's been sold out for a long time. So I'm really excited. It's going to be one of my bigger groups this year.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, it's Canada. They're awesome. So I enjoy. Oh, no, don't. You will not do it justice.
I think that's all I know.
But anytime I've been to Toronto and Vancouver, I think are the only two places, and they're really great experiences. So yeah. That's where we're at with events right now. And like we've announced everywhere, you may not have heard if you're just catching up, but next year we're going to tone down, and in the Find Your Village tour, once those are done, the current cities are finished, we're still going to do them. And we're just going to do one big U.S. conference in Portland, Oregon, and one international one in Sydney, which now that the dust has settled for that, I'm like, holy shit, what did I just commit to? I'm going to have to fly there. And you have to, I hate flying over water. Like, I hate it. Oh man. So I'm just going to have to go see a doc and get something that will put me to sleep or something. I don't know. Maybe lots of movies, lots of music, lots of books. I don't know what we're going to do, but I'm just going to suck it up and go because I've committed now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think on it too long. This weekend in Raleigh, there was an awesome woman who came, who actually does the Pregnancy, Birth, and Beyond podcast. And she said now it's syndicated and they're in Australia, and her husband was dropping her off and he spoke and I heard his accent and I was like, oh, come sit here right next to me. Like, I want to talk to you a little longer. But they actually live in Australia, and she just happened to be back visiting her mom during the time that I scheduled that event this weekend, wild. Which is wild. So we were talking about it a little bit. They're north of Sydney. So we were talking about how to get out there at some point too. But anyway, so yeah. Any other announcements?
We are selling a unicorn bundle on our store,
yeah,
selflovegeneration.com.
We have some left. And that includes the You Do You Boo shirt, the holiday ornament,
the lanyard,
and the mug. Which we only have a few left of. So yeah. And if you've ordered a mug, those will be shipping out this week, right?
Early next week.
Early next week?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And if you ordered a sports bra, hopefully by the end of next week, but we're going to email everyone with an update on that too. So yeah, but if you just want to check out what we have at selflovegeneration.com. But we're going to get into talking about
juicing.
Yeah. Not like juicing like that though.
Not the steroids?
No.
Oh, what kind of juicing were you talking about?
Did you think that's what we were going to talk about today?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about
Are you disappointed now?
Performance enhancing drugs.
Are you disappointed? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm going to talk more in detail what happened with me or in what I've been going through the last 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Getting into 6 weeks.
5th week. Yeah. 5 weeks ago for sure.
Right. So many of you know that after I had our last baby 2.5 years ago now, that I went vegan. I was having migraines when I ate meat. And so I cut that out. And then when I added dairy back in a few weeks later, because I cut both out, I thought my cesarean incision was reopening because there was so much pain. And once our baby was fussy, I realized, oh, it's the dairy I'm eating. Like, I had contacted my OB and everything. I was really worried. So I cut out dairy. So my body kind of forced me into veganism, which I wasn't mad about, but I was pretty pissed about the dairy because it's addicting, and I was addicted, no doubt. So it took me about 3 weeks to get over it. I cried. I threw a temper tantrum, but
she did.
Yeah, I did. About 3 weeks later, I was over it, and now I don't even think about it anymore at all. But when I started eating vegan, it's not that it's hard. It wasn't hard. It's just for me, I was used to buying and preparing and eating certain foods. So we just kept it simple and had fun with it. Well, that also meant a very high fat vegan diet, which is super yummy. But I really wasn't worried about it because I'm like, well, if it's vegan and I'm feeling okay, because regardless of my weight going up and down, my health has always done pretty good until after kids 5 and 6. I just did not recover as well. Had a lot more anxiety, a lot more postpartum depression. And I think my body was like, whoa, lady, like really, so can we slow down and take a break? So at some point, I think, between postpartum with kid 5 and then baby 5 and then getting pregnant again and then not really worrying about the amount of fat I was eating, I developed gallstones, my gallbladder. And I have learned a lot about this little organ that
you have.
I didn't even know what it did before this. I was like, what does it even do? And the mainstream thinking is, oh, well, if you have issues with it, you just have it removed. You don't need it to live. Right. So it's just nothing any of us really think about, but it's actually a really important little pear-shaped organ. It creates bile to deal with like all the cholesterol and fat you eat. so,
Yeah.
so when it gets overwhelmed, there's a buildup in there. And then the cholesterol, it's usually, there's many different kinds of gallstones. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. You can look it up. But the main one is cholesterol stones, basically. Mm-hmm. And they rub against each other and polish each other, and they turn into stones. So that's pretty much what happened. And some of the risk factors, of course, are high fat diet, age, being a woman, and pregnancy. The more children you have. I have found that my hormones are directly related to this as well. And the reason why I know that is because my worst flare-ups are during the week of my PMS, right before I get my period, my cycle. So, and this has been going on for 2 years now. So for 2 years, if my gallbladder does have what is called a gallbladder attack, it's usually around that time of the month. So I don't think that's a coincidence.
No, it's been a brutal time of the month for you.
So I've tried a lot of things over the last 2 years. Yeah. I've gone raw a few different times, raw vegan. For me, I thought, if you're going raw vegan, like that's the healthiest way I could eat and I'll be fine. And I would find that I would feel great for the first few weeks. And then like week 3, I wouldn't feel great. I've done a lot of apple juice, a lot of apple cider vinegar. When I drink apple juice and pears, it helps. Then I ate low fat, not raw vegan, but just low fat. I've done that a lot and consistently for a while, actually. And that does help. Absolutely. And then I realized after having a really bad attack in December and doing the gallbladder cleanse, I looked up even more and deeper into the gallbladder and how the whole entire digestive system works. And I just realized my whole digestive system is just sick. It's like shutting down. And that's when I realized that when I was eating raw vegan, I was still eating high fat. And so I worked a lot, after December to just eat a low fat diet, a little bit more plant-based and whatnot. And I was good for a while. I was like, meaning that I didn't have any gallbladder attacks really for quite a long time this year. I would start to feel maybe a little something come on, and it was usually during PMS week. And I would make sure my fat intake was really, really low, get some more rest. The more fat I ate, where my hormones were in my cycle, and how much sleep I was or was not getting, and then stress all played a huge role in me getting a gallbladder attack. So it's been quite a learning experience.
Yeah, it was not a good recipe for you.
No,
all those things together.
No. So this year has been really a learning experience, and I've learned a lot about my body, the digestive system, gallbladder, liver, pancreas. And so I thought I was, more in the clear. And then what happened was it was actually on September 11th of all days. I was really stressed out that day. We were trying to get a lot of work done, plus homeschool with the kids. And it was one of those frazzled days where, so I talk about self-care a lot, which if you haven't listened to our self-care podcast, listen to it right after this one. But I didn't take care of myself first. I just jumped right into like kids and work that day. And it was just chaos. And I was really, really frazzled. And I was being very careful about what I eat. Very careful. I called it my period gallbladder diet. But I was being very, very careful about what I was eating, the last, all year really.
Yeah.
And
you're doing really well.
Really well. But still, I always felt like right on the edge of if I slipped, I wasn't okay. I was still inflamed. I was still swollen. I definitely wasn't losing any weight. Not that I was trying, but with the way I was eating, I should have been, I guess. And so I was really just stressed out and frazzled and made some poor decisions on what I ate. I had some chips and salsa, corn chips and salsa, and I had a few organic tortillas. The combination made me very sick very fast. Literally within 3 hours, I had a gallbladder attack come on, which if I was doing really, really well, should not have happened. So I started feeling it come on, and I was like, oh crap, like this is going to be bad. I could just tell because it came on so fast and so fierce. And so by like 6 p.m., I was a mess. And I did an enema and I tried to like calm down. And I'm like, I just need to clear out my system. No, my body was like, F you, 2 middle fingers. This is what you get. So literally from 6 p.m. until I want to say 4 to 6 a.m., 12 hours, I threw up violently, nonstop. My gallbladder felt like it was folding in on itself, and my pancreas decided to join the party. So it was really bad.
Yeah.
And nothing I did helped. And that's just usually the case. If you don't, I've never had issues with your gallbladder. Like, it's just, I'd rather give birth every week, and my births aren't easy, than to ever have another gallbladder attack. There was just nothing you could do for me. There was nothing I could do. I mean, I threw up everything, and then the lining of bile. It was so bad. And by midnight, 2 a.m., I was leaning over the sink throwing up again and thinking, I can't throw up anymore. Like, I can't, I have to stop. Like, I have to mentally will my body to stop throwing up. Like, I just have to, like, this is really, really bad. I couldn't keep down any water, nothing. And everyone went to bed, and I laid on the couch all night in excruciating pain. And it was so painful. I almost drove myself to the hospital just to be asked to be knocked out, or to kill me. Like, it was that bad. It was so painful. And when you're in that much pain, the despair and the fear, and I was just scared. Unfortunately, when it did calm down enough for me to start resting, the pain was still there. Like, usually when I have a gallbladder attack, within 6 hours, I could get it calmed down. I could rest and then, make changes, whatever change I need to, and move on. This was not like that. Right?
Right.
Like, at all.
Yeah, it was pretty concerning for me. I was worried, and yeah, I mean, the hospital was definitely an option, and I'm sure any other person would probably
that's why
have gone to the hospital.
Probably should have been there. But I knew if I went, all they'd want to, we would do surgery. And the thing is, I'm not against having surgery. I just don't want to have to go through that and make that decision when I'm in that much pain.
Well, the problem, like you said before, with your pancreas joining the party is that you had a bit of acute pancreatitis going on. Mm-hmm. And so even if there was surgery that they wanted to do,
I would have had to become hydrated, and
you needed to wait anyways.
Get the inflammation down and all that. I'd rather do that at home.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next 2 days I laid in bed and didn't eat or really drink anything at all. It took until I think I started getting some water down. I remember that first 5 days I had 2 pairs. That's it.
Right.
And by day 5, I could finally start taking breaths without pain. I started drinking a little bit of cold pressed apple juice, just a little bit of water. Started taking some supplements. We got like a gallbladder, liver, pancreas blend of supplements that had, like turmeric and milk thistle and
artichoke
and things like that.
Things that are good for the gallbladder. Dandelion root.
I got a dandelion root tea, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
I had cotton mouth for 2 or 3 weeks, actually. Yeah. So it took a long time to rehydrate my body and to get things to calm down. And so by day 5, I could start breathing without pain, but I was still in pain. All day for the first 10 days was just me getting through the day, trying to hydrate my body. I did try to eat some steamed vegetables on this all happened Monday. On Friday evening, that did not go well in my digestive system. And I realized my digestive system needed a break to heal.
Yeah, it did.
Right. And so I have read everything I can get my hands on for treatments and for surgery. I have heard and read thousands of people's experience with gallbladder surgery. Everyone's experience is all over the place, completely different. And I was really contemplating actually this time just going and having surgery because this was scary and this was not okay. And I didn't want to get myself in a situation where I would regret not having had surgery, to be honest. So I researched all that. I decided that the only option left to heal my body before going that route was to shut down my digestive system as much as possible, and basically not shut it down, give it rest is really what I mean when I say that. But to give it rest, to let it just rest for a while. My gallbladder, my liver, my pancreas, my colon, all of it, and not only to let it rest, but to give it a shit ton of nutrients that I obviously haven't been giving it, right?
Absolutely.
Because here's the thing, and this is a hard pill to swallow, and I don't want to hear from anyone else. So if you want to tell this to me, like, just no, shut up.
Zip it.
But what I had to get real clear with myself about was this was nobody else's fault. And I could sit here and blame it on the stress I've had in my life the last few years. And I could blame it on, well, I had to go through this, or blame it on that, or, you know, having kids. I mean, you know, we can all try to find reasons to be the victim and to blame other people. But that's not going to get me anywhere. That's not going to heal my body. That's not going to fix anything. So I had to get real clear with myself. Like, this is no one's fault but my own. And no one can make this better but me. Right?
Exactly right.
Yeah. So I put some, and I've talked about this on social media, but I put some reminders in my calendar with alarms to go off every day, every few hours, with things like your body is amazing, your body is capable, your body is healing, your body is powerful. Do not give up on yourself. That's my favorite one. I have that set for 6 p.m. during the witching hours. Do not give up on yourself. That's usually when I go take a bath with a kombucha, but
and then I want to give up on myself.
Do not give up on yourself. I have one in the evening around 9:30 or 10 p.m. that says rest. It's time to rest. Another day is done. You know, and so these reminders help me a lot actually throughout the day.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I'm about ready to change a few up, just so that they're a little bit fresh, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I put those in my phone, and I decided that I was just going to drink juice. And I've done juice cleanses before. The longest is 10 days. And this is not something that's like, oh yes, I want to do juice cleanse. This was, I need to heal my body. I need to get these micronutrients into my system as fast as possible without overloading my digestive system. And you guys, I'm not a doctor. I am just the owner of my own body. And I am someone who wants to be a fighter and someone who wants to do things my way. And so I am not telling anyone else what to do at all. And I'm not judging anyone else if you do things completely different. But this is what I wanted to do for me. And so a lot of people ask me, like, weren't you hungry? And it's like, no, I wasn't hungry. I never wanted to touch food again during this point.
Yeah.
And so I never went through the typical, when people start a juice fast or juice feast or juice cleanse, and by day 3 you're like losing your mind. I had already lost my mind. Like, I had already been through that from getting so sick that I was just grateful I could get some juice down and keep it down. I was just grateful to start getting some energy back. And so I just had a Breville compact I got for $99 on Amazon. Came home, and I shop at a few different stores. People ask where I shop. I shop at, the Randalls by us, which is owned by Safeway.
It's owned by Albertsons, but, Safeway,
Yeah.
Tom Thumb, Randalls.
I would shop at H-E-B, which is something that's really big out here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And did I say Whole Foods? And
No,
Whole Foods.
Yeah, Whole Foods.
And then also Amazon Prime now, because they bring us stuff from Sprouts. So it depends on the prices everywhere during that week. And so I shop from a lot of places. I would love to go to the farmer's market every weekend, but that's just not an option for us when I'm traveling a lot usually. So I guess, I'm not completely crunchy. I'm a little soggy in there. So
You're a little mainstream there.
Yeah, but I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. I don't like fitting into any labels. So
Exactly.
I always got to do a little something to keep me out of a label.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we shop everywhere. I did do a little bit more organic in the beginning, but I've relaxed on that because I figure if I'm juicing a lot of foods and eating a completely plant-based diet, and my family, honestly, you and the kids are eating way more vegetables, especially fruit and vegetables, than we were before. And we were eating a good amount before, but even more so now. Yeah. So, well, it's affected how you eat, right?
Yeah, I was already cleaning up my diet a lot as well.
Which I think is funny because your diet was already like superior in many ways.
In May, I weighed in at 248, which for me, that's the most I'd ever weighed by far. And it was way too heavy. I wasn't feeling that great. I didn't have a whole lot of stamina. I'd definitely gotten stronger. I was doing my powerlifting routine and diet for well over a year, and can kind of be an excuse to just eat whatever you want and as much as you want of it for the calories.
Yeah, it can be. Not
energy.
everyone, but yeah, it can be.
Not everyone, but that's how it was in my mind.
I liked your muscles.
Right, but the problem was that they were covered by a fair layer of fat that I didn't like.
I mean, but your definition of layer fat and my definition of layer fat are very different.
True.
Like your definition of layer fat is like a little bit of fat on like, a fierce lion. Like my definition of layer fat is like a beached whale. So
yeah, but how often in our relationship have I gotten tired by going up a flight of stairs?
That is true.
And that's
right?
where I was at.
Your cardiovascular health wasn't where you wanted.
Oh, it was pitiful. And so I decided to change up everything. I stopped trying to lift heavy every workout I dropped.
You were eating a lot.
Yeah, my joints felt tired because I was powerlifting for well over a year. And so I dropped weight, did more reps, dropped calories, changed up a lot what I was eating. I've dropped a decent amount of weight. But once this whole ordeal started with you, I started juicing a little bit more myself. And actually, after about a week or so of you doing it, I think after we watched Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead.
Yeah, so we watched that around that 10-ish days.
A few weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, so
3 or 4 weeks ago.
I was just starting to really juice because I finally could. Mm-hmm. So it was around maybe 10 days to 2 weeks.
Something like that, yeah.
Since I had gotten sick.
Yeah, yeah.
And that I decided I was going to just do juice for a couple weeks. And we watched that.
And I decided I was going to start adding more juices in, at least 2 a day. I try to shoot for 3 a day. And what's really crazy is that because I had dropped the amount of food I was eating, I didn't have as much energy in the gym. I was still fairly strong, but not nearly what I was. Well, I started adding juices back in, and within a week and a half, all of a sudden my strength started skyrocketing back to what it was back in the early part of this year. And the only thing I've done is add juices in. I'm not eating, if anything, I'm actually eating less because I'm having more juice and I don't need to eat as much.
It's been interesting watching because this layer fat that you speak of has definitely gone down or away. And then you're telling me how you're lifting heavier in the gym. That's kind of a mind blow for someone who's into powerlifting and bodybuilding, right? It's just like, well, no, I got to eat my 5 meals with my protein and my this and that. Yeah. And you still eat a couple of meals a day like that. Mm-hmm. But then 2 or 3 times a day, you're also having juice. So you cut back a little bit on the food, even though you're still eating meals. How many meals a day are you eating right now?
I eat about 3 meals a day.
Right. Where before it was 5 to 6.
It was 5 to 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was 248. Now, I think last week at one point I was 224.
Yeah.
So
but you're not losing muscle.
No, I've actually gained some muscle, and I have a legit 6-pack right now.
That's in a few weeks. That's nuts.
Pretty freaking proud of.
That's wild. Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. I know. I have a kegger I'm pretty proud of too.
But yeah, the last couple of weeks, my strength, each workout is gaining.
That's incredible.
More and more. So
that's been really, for me, it's been really fun to watch because I'm a huge proponent of veganism. And I don't know if I think we mentioned this recently, but you added fish and eggs back into your diet.
I did. Yeah. I actually didn't feel like, I felt really achy and I felt like I was missing something. So I added salmon mostly. I've eaten a few other types of fish, but I eat mostly salmon because it's, fatty fish. It's full of omega-3s. And it's a legit difference how I feel when I eat it. I feel less achy. Actually, I don't feel achy at all because I'm getting enough EPA and DHA.
Is it too legit to quit?
It's too legit to quit. It's legitimate. How's that?
I love that word.
But yeah, I'm getting enough omega-3s that I'm feeling fantastic.
Well, I personally love that you've added in the juices and that you're seeing a benefit from it because I feel like it's like, yes, for plants to be doing that. And a lot of people ask, well, why don't you just have asked me, why don't you just do green smoothies? And I think green smoothies are amazing. We've done green smoothies, forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
We've had our kids drink green smoothies since they were very little, all of them. And they all still love them and make them and ask us to make them for them.
We still have our Vitamix that we bought in 2006.
Heck yeah, we do.
That sucker is still going strong.
Well, the motor went out, but it was still under warranty.
Yeah.
So it's a little old man. I mean, it's a little old.
A little finicky here and there.
Yeah, but it works.
Still does the job.
Yeah, and they're expensive. You use those suckers till they literally stop.
Yeah. And we do use it every day.
We do.
Quite literally.
We absolutely do. So, I mean, we are huge green smoothie fans. I personally, because of being so sick and it being my digestive system that was so sick, needed to not have all of the pulp and the fiber.
Yeah.
Because my body would still have to process that and push it through, and it just wouldn't. It just would not. So that's why I did juicing. It is the quickest way to get in your system. And, it's interesting because since I started doing this, I've looked at different people's Instagrams and YouTube and this and that. And I think it's so funny. And by funny, I mean ridiculous. How much people argue over this shit.
Oh,
what kind of juicer do you have? Is it, a slow masticating juicer? Because if not, it's going to introduce heat and you're not getting as much out. And is it this? Is it that? Is it organic? Is it conventional? Well, with juicing, you're not getting the fiber. So, you might as well just do a green smoothie. And if you do a green smoothie, then, everyone goes back and forth on it. And it's like, you guys, shut up and just do what works for you, because it's going to be different for every single person. And it's going to be different for every person at different times in their lives. So it's so ridiculous to argue about it. Just share what you're doing or don't and put information out there if you feel like it. And then that's it. Like, this is nothing to argue about. We get so caught up on what kind of juicer or what kind of organic or not organic or this or that many times we don't even start. Because we're so overwhelmed, or we think like, unless we have all our ducks in a row, it's like, just start. Get what you can afford. If you can afford the cheapest juicer and the, produce from Walmart, do it. Yeah. Because you're going to be giving your body way more nutrients than you were yesterday. Mm-hmm. So you just start where you can and you go from there. We used the Breville Compact and we wore it out pretty quick. So we did buy an Omega because when we went to look at the other Breville juicers, which I kind of do want one, by the way. They're faster. I kind of want both, to be honest. They were kind of similar pricing because there's 8 people in our family and we all enjoy juicing now. Mm-hmm. The kids love to help. They love to make up their own concoctions. Like, yeah, they do. They just love it. And I want them to love it. So we did get the Omega because it was kind of comparable, which surprised me because 10 years ago when I looked, they weren't. So I think we'll end up with both. Like, I think there's pros and cons to everything. So do what works for you. But anyway, so back to where I was in this journey. So around 2 weeks, I was doing all juice. After about 10 days, between 10 and 14 days, I finally woke up one morning and was pain-free. So it took almost 2 weeks to be pain-free. But what was interesting, I recently shared a photo, like a before and after type photo. The difference is incredible after just a few weeks. I feel like it looks like I've lost 50 pounds. And you guys, I have not lost 50 pounds. But it's because all of the inflammation, all of the swelling has gone down. Like, my ankles look different. I've had rashes that have calmed down and are going away. After my 5th baby, he came out with his shoulders up and down, y'all. I don't suggest you do that. And so I've had issues with hemorrhoids, and that's completely gone. Like,
oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, completely gone. Huh. I'm sleeping better. Not only am I sleeping better, but when I wake up in the morning, I'm awake. And that is huge, right?
Yeah.
I had serious fatigue issues.
Yeah. You would get 8 hours of sleep and it wouldn't be enough. Like, you needed 10 minimum to feel okay.
And I still had a hard time.
Even then, you still had a hard time.
Yeah. So, now I will say traveling again, I'm a little more tired, day or two after, but that's just...
Well, it's just exhausting.
Yeah.
So you're allowed.
Thanks. You approve?
I approve.
This has
of
been
being tired.
Checked off, approved by
yes.
Dr. Hershey. Okay.
Yes.
So, I wake up and I just have more energy. When I started, I think around week 3, I went for a walk. it was, had so much energy. It was so awesome that I went a little too far. The hills of Austin, and I ended up on a couple mile walk, and I almost passed out literally a few times, but it felt so good to just be moving again.
You came back.
Oh, it was bad.
Looked like you were going to fall over. You're like, yeah,
I
you told me where you
over.
went. I was like, what?
I did fall over, and I had to sit at the bottom of our stairs. I didn't even come all the way up into the apartment.
Yeah.
I had to sit at the bottom of the stairs. My face was beet red. Everything was dizzy. So the next time I walked a little bit closer, took some water with me. I didn't plan on walking that far. That's the thing.
I was like, a hot day. I
was like, oh, I'll just walk like 10 minutes. And I put in my headphones, and I was so happy to have energy, because it was the first day I felt like I could really actually go out for a walk, because I was finally drinking like, 5 juices a day. So I just went and went and went. And then once you walk a certain way, like you have to walk back, so, but it was amazing. At one point when I got close back to home, I was bent over with my hands on my knees, just huffing and puffing. And I was wearing a green shirt, and it took me back to when I was birthing our 5th baby, and you were wearing a green shirt, bent over to catch our baby. And I was bent over you holding me up. And I thought, if I could get through that birth, I can get through, this, and I can get through anything. I have definitely been walking more. I don't necessarily go like out on a walk every day, but I walk further. It's just part of my life again. When I walk to get my juices when I'm traveling, I don't always take the escalator or the moving walkways at the airport, but I walk instead, unless I'm in a hurry.
That's another reason why you're exhausted. You're getting a lot of exercise when you travel.
Yeah. And I, last week I took Miss New York out for her birthday, and we dropped the car off to get the tires changed, and we decided to just walk home because it's not too far away. Things like that. So.
In your flip-flops?
I know. I keep ending up walking in my flip-flops. I don't know why I'm doing that. I just need to start wearing tennis shoes more, so I'm more prepared for these walks I spontaneously go on.
Yeah.
Oh man. So since I got sick, I have been in one way or another on all fruits and vegetables, and completely plant-based. So up until about a little over a week ago, so for about a month, it was all maybe 3.5 to 4 weeks, all juice. Anywhere from 4 to 6 juices a day, ranging from, probably averaging 20 ounces of juice.
Yeah.
Right?
I'd say so.
So just listening to my body, and what, if I started feeling more cranky or tired or having a hard time watching you guys eat or smelling your food, I probably needed some more, or I need to go for a walk or go take a bath. I also do drink kombucha almost every day. That helps me a lot. I like to get the chia seed ones because it gives me a tiny bit of fat and protein. And I can actually feel the difference because my diet is so minimalist, I guess you could say.
It is.
That when I have something with something certain in it, I can feel it.
Well, those grape chia seed kombuchas.
I know, they're
amazing.
so good.
The GTs.
And I still drink coffee. I told you I can't fit in a box completely. So I still drink. And when I say I drink coffee, it's usually one coffee a day and about a cup of coffee. Some days I'll do a second coffee, but I don't always necessarily finish it or have to finish it. I don't use sugar or sweeteners at all anymore. I actually tried a little stevia today for the first time, and I just didn't think it did anything for it. So, isn't that weird?
Yeah,
like my taste buds have changed. My taste buds are literally changing. So I actually did, you guys, today for the first time try a little stevia again in my coffee, and I was like, well, that was worthless. So yeah, right? Really interesting. So I do a little bit of coffee. I try to do organic coffee if I can. I get a cold pressed almond milk and put a tiny bit in that. Now I'll say, you guys, if I get a coffee that's not organic, or I need to use a little bit of a regular almond milk, it's okay. I've really worked hard on not getting caught up on these little things that really will just hold me back or make me falter in what I'm doing. So yeah, I drink a little bit of coffee still and a little bit of almond milk. I think that's really it. So for almost a month, that's what I did. Kombucha, 4 to 6 juices a day, about 20 ounces each, and a little bit of coffee and a little bit of cold pressed almond milk. And I also got myself some natural gum for when I was having a really hard time. And I think that's it. And I've still prepared a lot of food for the kids. You know, it's a love language for me. And food, I mean, I have attachment to food. Duh. So, but if I'm having
You're
a
a good cook too. So,
oh, thanks, babe. So if I'm having a really hard time, I'll tell you, don't I? I tell you, I'm like, I cannot handle you guys eat. Like, I want to freaking kill you because you're eating food. And so I'm going to go take a bath, or I'm going to go upstairs, or I'm going to go for a walk. And you're like, yeah, cool, whatever. I got it. You know, and the kids pitch in too. The kids will be like, Mom, do you need me to make you a juice? Or do you want help cleaning the juicer? Or can we help make dinner? You know, our family is pretty rad, actually. Yeah. You know, we all kind of pitch in and help each other. So
Miss New York's really into making juice.
She's freaking awesome. So about a week and a half ago, I started experimenting a little bit with low-fat, raw vegan food. A little bit to see how my digestive system would handle it. I've shared a little bit on my Instagram of, you know, some raw wraps or lettuce wraps or using nori sheets, seaweed. My body seems to be doing okay with that. So I have moved into drinking about 3 to 4 juices a day and having 1 or 2 other small meals.
Right.
Those meals are either, I'm keeping it very, very simple because I'm really experimenting still at, you know, moving into my 6th week. Mm-hmm. So the meals consist of either the wraps, which I just posted about last night, actually. And I do a lot of like tomatoes, homemade fresh pico, spiralized zucchini. And then I'll do either a little bit of avocado. I'll only allow myself up to half an avocado a day. Or I'll do a little bit of raw tahini with lemon juice. I've experimented with a few other dip recipes from some raw vegans, but I just really like to keep it simple. Wild Brine is a company that makes a kimchi jalapeno sauce, and that's 0 fat, so I'll use that. Those, I think, are the top 3 things that I will put on or to make it like creamy or to get my, you know, a little bit of fat. It's really been about 80-10-10. But 80% carbs, 10% fat, 10% protein. And so after a few days of doing this, I re-downloaded the MyFitnessPal to check myself. And I put in all my food that day, all my juices, the small meals I'd had. And it was like literally 79, 11, 10.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Just about dead on.
It was just about dead on 80-10-10. So I've kind of figured out and I think that's where I'm going to sit at for a while, is doing a little bit of coffee, some kombucha, about at least 3 juices a day. I want 3 minimum, and then a small meal. And right now I'm doing the wraps, like I said. Another thing that I have done, because I was starting to get a little angry that people were eating yummy cooked food in the house. So I decided to bake a gold potato, well, a few small ones. Mm-hmm. And to put some fresh pico and some marinated diced mushrooms. I marinate it with gluten-free tamari sauce and nutritional yeast. And then that Wild Brine jalapeno stuff, and put that on it. So it's literally a 0 fat meal. And the heaviest thing is potato. So I've had that a few times and my body's done really good with that.
Well, it's super yummy too.
It is super yummy. I was just telling our oldest that I wanted to find a little something different to put on that. So the only cooked food I've had in the last 5 weeks is baked potato. And then yesterday I got that really cool squash. I shared about it on my story. It was like a curry, I guess how you say it. It's Kuri squash. And it was like 99 cents a pound at Whole Foods. And I literally sliced it in half, scooped out the seeds, put some sea salt and pepper on it, no oil, no nothing, and stuck it in the oven for 35 minutes. It was so good.
It was good.
And the kids loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. So I got some more of those today.
It's like a cross between a pumpkin and a sweet potato.
Yeah. I don't really like
good.
Sweet potato, but I was just, there's somebody I follow on Instagram and he's talking about squash and pumpkin lately. And I was like, I want some of that. So this is again back to the not being all or nothing. And I get very all or nothing. And it's like, if I'm really craving squash, am I going to sit here and keep myself from having a little bit of baked squash because, oh my gosh, it's not raw? No. I told you I have to always do something, a little something to stay outside a label. We were talking about last night. I'm like, is there any label I could be in right now? Because if I'm having a little bit of cooked food, is that really raw vegan? And maybe fruitarian, just plant-based. I don't know. I don't know what you would label me as.
I don't know.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at, you guys. Going into my 6th week of mostly juicing, I'm finding 80-10-10s working well for me. And my little vices are kombucha and a little coffee. Juice has to be my main diet still right now. I'm not going to just heal my body in 30 days, y'all.
No.
I had 6 kids, ate a certain way for a long time. I can't just do this for 30 days. I'm like, okay, I'm good, and go eat a bunch of crap. And you know what? If I were to have surgery, I couldn't do that either. I'm not going to go have surgery just so I can eat crap. Like, what's that doing for my body? I want to get up in the morning and feel mentally better and feel ready to take on the day, whatever that looks like. I want to feel like I can keep up with my kids. Like, I want to see what my kids do. I have spent all of this time and energy in raising these amazing humans, and then what? I'm going to be sick or not here to see the cool crap they do when they get older. I want to see that cool crap, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be here for all that, and not just be here for it, but like really truly living for it and enjoying it, whatever that is. So, even
thriving.
Yeah. Somebody tried to call me out on not having surgery the other day. And I was like, look, even if for some reason it's just too far gone and I would need to have surgery, which I don't think will happen. But if it did, wouldn't what I'm doing only benefit me still? Because I'd be less inflamed. I'd have less fat in my body. And when you're having surgery, that's kind of actually, it's
a good thing.
It's something to consider, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have, to be put under and whatnot. And cut through, even if it's like laparoscopic, it doesn't matter. And my healing process would be, I can't even imagine. You couldn't even list or look at how much better the surgery and healing would go just by what I'm doing right now. So even if I were to have surgery or chose to have surgery, I would want to do this first. Yeah. I would want to get my body in as healthy place as I can before doing that. And the thing is, that's just not how our society thinks.
No.
Right. And so I know people are just like, she is just nuts. What is she doing? Why doesn't she just have surgery? My mother's cousin's best friend's sister-in-law had her gallbladder removed. She was just fine. Well, okay, but I'm me. So it doesn't mean I'll be fine. Right.
Well, yeah. And if you think about it, for thousands and thousands of years, people around the world heal themselves with very natural methods. And you think of Eastern medicine or Ayurvedic medicine, things like that.
Yeah.
Western medicine is a century old tops. And when you look at our country, the United States is one of the sickest countries in the world, especially of all the industrialized countries. We're number one. Mm-hmm. I mean, the amount of people getting sick and dying from so many preventable diseases. And actually, diseases are all the body's way of adapting or not adapting. Mm. So there are certain things we're going to be predisposed to because of genetics, sure. But you can reverse those processes with good lifestyle choices. Mm-hmm. It's called epigenetics. You can look that up.
Oh, you just got all fancy.
Yeah, that particular topic was on the cover of Time magazine within the last 10 years. But disease is literally your body's way of telling you it cannot adapt to the stress you're putting it under, whether it's mental stress or physical stress or dietary stress, something. So when you said earlier that you have no one to blame but yourself, that really is true. Mm-hmm. Like anything that happens to us health-wise, we have either 100% blame to take or at least a majority of it. Mm-hmm. We can make better choices as individuals.
Yeah, and
as
again,
a society.
just like I say with self-care, how that's going to look different for everyone because we're all in different, situations, financially, race, community, part of the world we live in. But doesn't mean, like you just said, that we can't make better choices in our situation. And that might not look like somebody else's best choices, right? But we can make better choices in our situation. Here's the thing, though. People don't want to hear it. And I understand because I am addicted to food. Absolutely. And I'm addicted to bad food. And my body's I'm in the process of working through that. I can feel it, emotionally, mentally. This is not easy. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys like, yeah, I've been doing this I'm going into week 6, piece of cake, no problem. No, but I will tell you this: pain is an incredible motivator.
Yeah.
And the amount of pain I was in, unfortunately, that's what it took to push me to be extreme. I use air quotes because my extreme is really just, just eating natural good food, but it's seen as extreme now, and
for us, it feels like a necessity.
Right.
For other people are like, whoa,
that's extreme.
I don't know if I can do that. That's extreme.
Right. And again, like, I'm not telling anyone what to do because I feel like we all have to do what's right for our bodies, and what's right for my body may not be best for your body. But, I know that internal struggle. I know the internal debate where, yes, I'm talking to you that's listening right now, what's best for your body, and you're finding how many excuses to not do it. And I know it, and I see it because I'm you. And it is hard. It is the hardest thing I will probably ever do in my life. And I have had unassisted home births. I have had VBACs after 2 cesareans. I have been homeless. I have dealt with a lot of things in my past that I'm not comfortable talking about at the moment. I have, we all have. We've all gone through hard things, and this will probably be the hardest thing I ever do. And it's because we have to eat every day. It's not something that I can just cut out of my life completely. Exactly. We are around other people eating all the time. You can't even drive a mile without seeing how many fast food restaurants probably where you live. Yeah. You go grocery shopping, everything's in your face unless you stick to literally the produce section. We are a society that is obsessed with dieting and exercise. It is going to be around you no matter what. You have to become the strongest version of yourself mentally to become the strongest person of yourself physically, right? So I know how hard it is. I get it. I really do. When I was traveling, it was really, really hard. When I am home, I control my house. I control what food comes in and out of my home. Right. So I am like the queen of my house, and I say what food comes in and comes out. Let me just tell you, everyone's diet has cleaned up phenomenally. Because there are certain things that I can't stand watching y'all eat. So, at home, it's easier. I still have moments. I still have like, oh gosh, this is, but I will say for the most part, 95% of the time at home, I'm good because I can go and make a juice. I'm not seeing a bunch of crap in the house. I'm not smelling somebody's barbecue food or whatever it is. Yeah. And so I control what I watch when I'm home, and I start kind of feeling myself mentally, questioning what I'm doing, or, oh, this is kind of hard. Or, I can see myself going towards the road of a really beautiful pity party, all decorated beautifully with like unicorns and rainbows, and everybody come join my pity party. I control what we watch, right? We control what we watch, Yeah. We're not going to have food advertisements in our house all the time. So I'll pull up, I like Tanny Raw, Tanny Raw. She's a hoot, but I'll pull up her stuff, or the Raw Boy. I like him. I like people who keep it simple and are down to earth and are authentic. And I'll go look at some of their YouTube stuff, or I'll pull up a food documentary, or all, that kind of thing. And that refocuses me. I just did this last night. So, at home, I have a lot more control, and gosh, it feels good. It feels so good to just be in control of your life and, your addiction, really, because that's what it is for me. And to be able to do that. The challenge is when you're not in your own house, when you don't have control over what other people are not only eating, because you can't control others and what they eat, but what they're eating in front of you. So you're having to look at this food, you're having to smell it. And smell is really, really powerful. So last weekend when I was traveling, I noticed when I got to the hotel and I was kind of tired, I had plenty of juice and food with me because I plan for this when I'm traveling now. But I was frustrated because one of my favorite things to do because I travel so much is find a cool vegan restaurant and go try some really yummy vegan food. So I was laying there one of those nights, and no, it was the first night. And I was like, damn it, I just want some good mac and cheese. I just want some vegan mac and cheese or a really yummy vegan meal. And I was so frustrated. I was angry. That I couldn't have that. Like some force was keeping me from eating that. No one was keeping me from eating that but me. but with good reason, so I couldn't be angry at anyone else. Right. And I couldn't be angry at my body. My body is telling me what it needs. And so you know what I did? I just felt angry, and then I let it pass, and I drank some juice, and I read a book, and I got cozy in bed, and I got some sleep. I don't try to make myself not feel how I feel. I allow myself to feel how I feel. And then I keep doing what I know I need to do anyways. You can do that. So that was my frustration last weekend. This weekend, traveling, I was in the airports. I was in 2 airports on Friday and 2 airports on Sunday. And let me just tell you what, you cannot find, most of the time, you cannot find anything for like what I'm doing. And you have to have the food with you and just be ready for that. But I was flying home, and for some reason, my connection was in Miami. So I flew from freaking North Carolina down to Miami, had a short layover, and then I had to fly Miami to Austin. But it was the only flights that would get me home that night. So I'm in Miami. I'm tired. I don't really have much more food with me at this point. There's nothing. There's no like cold pressed juice. I'm finding nothing, but I am walking by all of these restaurants. And by the time I walked by TGIF, I was ready to punch someone in the throat, because they were all in there enjoying their damn buffalo wings and their loaded nachos and their yummy Cosmos. And I'm walking by and I'm smelling all this, and I'm hearing the laughter. And what does smell do? It makes you think of memories, right? Like you can feel I started feeling the emotions of smelling all of this food and my lack of getting to eat it. I started feeling it physically. And by the time I got to my gate, I felt this physical pain in my chest and my gut, because I was hungry and I just wanted to be able to eat this food. And how come all these other people can eat it and I can't? And I allowed myself to feel the emotions of that. And then I reminded myself, January, you are not eating this way because you're trying to diet. You're not eating this way because you're trying to lose weight or look a certain size. You're eating this way because your body is telling you that you have to heal it. You're eating this way because you've had 6 children. You were pregnant and breastfeeding and postpartum for like 14 years. So you have to now give your body that kind of and that many years of self-care and love. You're not eating. This is not a diet mentality. You're eating this way because you don't want to be in pain. And yes, I could go over here and order whatever is on this menu. I actually went and looked at a few. I made myself suffer. I could go. I don't know why I did it. But I went to this.
Why did you do
Oh my God. Because I just wanted to order something. I'm like, is there anything on there I could order at all? And I know the answer. And I'm reading through it and I was like, and I was watching these people order. I'm like, F that guy, F that girl, F that one in particular. I hate all of you. Right.
You called me to get some support.
And so this was after that. So I'm looking at this food and I'm thinking I could order it. I could freak the hell out and order something right now. I don't know. I would most likely end up in a lot of pain because my body is not completely healed yet. And even when it is healed, I'm going to have changed things so drastically that if I were to eat something like that, my body would probably be like, the hell, girl? What did you just? Hell no. So yeah, I could eat it. There's no one here. There's no one else here to hold me accountable. There's no one else that would even know. No one would have known. No one. And I was craving shit I haven't craved in years, like cheeseburgers and pepperoni pizza. And no one would know. But I just thought of the pain I would be in, how far I've come. Then I'm doing this because I deserve this for myself, and because I need to be my own hero, and because I need to not give up on myself. So I started in my head, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. And then I called you because I was so upset. And I called you just to say, this is really, really hard. I'm smelling everyone's food. I'm barbecuing Chinese. Like, I don't have any food to eat. I'm so frustrated. You just listened. You just literally held space for me because you can't fix it. There's nothing you could do. Like, I'm sorry, babe. You'll be home soon. Is there anything you want me to make for you? I'm like, yes, put some potatoes in the oven at 11 o'clock. So, and you set your alarm to do it, didn't you?
I did, because I was really tired from having the kids all day, and I actually fell asleep on the couch watching a show. But I had that alarm set.
That's
11
right.
p.m. I didn't know where I was. I was wondering why I wasn't in bed. Mm-hmm. I was in that deep of a sleep.
Yeah.
But I got the potatoes in.
I'm sharing this with you guys to let you know that it's not all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn glitter poop. I mean, for the most part, this experience has been phenomenal because I am out of pain. My body's healing. As I'm eating a little bit more food, mostly raw, but not 100%. My digestive system is actually working pretty good. That's what I'm paying attention to. Like, I mean, pooping without fear has become a thing for me. Like, I love to poop.
Oh,
I
man.
need that on a sign in my bathroom. I love to poop because it's good and it's healthy. Because when you're constipated and you're not pooping, something's wrong with your diet.
Yep.
So, and
true.
taking outside things is a temporary fix. You got to fix that from the inside out, baby.
Ideally, you should have a bowel movement within 2 to 3 hours of eating a meal.
There you go.
Which I do.
For me, my body, for me, I need sleep. After I sleep, yes, you do. After I sleep.
You're in the bathroom again?
Oh my gosh.
Go.
You're in the bathroom all the time.
Hey. I'm just evacuating my
probably
bowels.
No, I think it's just to get a break from all of us. Silence. My body likes to sleep in the morning. But anyways, so hey, you guys might think this is TMI, but this is important stuff and it's all part of this journey. But so for the most part, this has been a good experience. I will tell you that I am really proud of myself. And I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to feel that way.
I'm proud of you.
This last week, I was PMSing. And you guys, that's not a small statement for how it is for me. My hormones, just after having kid number 5, it changed. And I am very hormonal. I am very cranky. I have moments of anger and rage. I get very swollen. I have self-doubt. I get very tired. And usually that's when I have issues flare out with my gallbladder, my digestive system. And I had to travel this week. And I did not give up on myself. And it was calmer than it usually is. Last night I got really angry and just a moment of just frustration. So I allowed myself to just sit there at the table and cry. And then I felt better. And it was good. And I didn't give up on myself. So that has been that's been the journey that I've been on the last 5 to 6 weeks of, I'm still on it. I'm going to be on it for some time. I'm trying to think of questions people have asked me that I might not have covered. That was pretty detailed. We shared a lot of information.
That was pretty detailed.
I know some people have asked like my favorite juices. Maybe we could do a blog post so people can actually write it down or save it. But I also share them in my stories on Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Both are January Hershey.
Those don't stay up.
Those don't stay up, but I'll do some more this week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'll share a little bit more about my wraps tonight probably too.
Yeah.
But
juicing has definitely been a game changer.
Right.
Oh, another reason I've been adding more juice too is
I
have something with my left eye called keratoconus. And what happens is that your cornea starts to deform and your eyeball basically becomes more cone shaped and it distorts your vision very badly.
No big deal.
No big deal. And it started around when I was 30. Ironically, it was around the time I started really getting into designing websites and stuff like that for us. So I don't know if there's any correlation there, but I think there probably is.
We also had 2 more children and a lot less sleep.
That
probably plays a role. Yeah.
Just a few things here and there. And so the way you can have that treated is with a procedure called transepithelial cross-linking. And
there you go with your fancy words again. You're a show-off.
Well, hey, I've just done some research into this. But it's not non-invasive, but it does take some time to heal from, a good 6 to 8 weeks. And really, truly, it's about 6 months before you're finally feeling back to normal and your vision's, if it does improve, at the worst, it'll stay the same.
So basically, you really need to have this done soon.
True. So in the meantime, what I'm doing to help stave off the worsening vision in that eye is juicing particular vegetables that have a lot of antioxidants that are good for your eye. And those are orange bell peppers, celery, beets, kale, and kiwi. The only one of those I don't do is kiwi because they're just
they're pain in the ass.
They're pain in the ass to get the fuzz off of them. But I do a lot of bell peppers.
Wait a minute. I talked about this one time and somebody is like, you do realize you can cut them in half and just spoon it out, right? And I was like, oh, I never thought of that.
That's a good idea. Didn't know that.
Oh, sorry. Go
Well,
ahead.
they're still on the bottom of the list though.
Yeah.
All the other ones are easier. But I actually have been juicing 2 bell peppers a day. I have celery juice every morning. I've added bell peppers into that. I have lots of kale, lots of beet juice. And I have actually seen some slight improvement in my vision. It's not a ton. It's still fairly bad in that eye, but it has.
But it's
gotten a
not
little bit
getting
better.
worse. It's actually gotten slightly better. Slightly.
Yeah. And I have some floaters in my vision, and they have actually lessened a bit, and a couple of them have actually broken up, and so they're a little bit different. So it is doing
That's
the
just
trick
awesome
for me
that it's
as
something
well.
that can help you until you can get in and get that correction done on your eye.
Yeah. So
See, we're not completely anti-surgery.
well, that's not actually surgery.
It's what is it considered?
It's just a procedure.
Yeah.
Well, it's non-invasive.
Oh gosh.
Basically, what they do.
That's what people tell me about removing an organ from my body too, right? Oh, it's just laparoscopic. It's not even surgery.
Well, this is different. They sedate you, and then I think they take off the very top surface layer of the eye, and then they put B12, and then they put you in front of a UV light for 30 minutes.
I can't talk about those.
And it has a 90 to 95% success rate for decades in Europe and Canada. Mm-hmm. So
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is actually very interesting to me. Maybe not to anyone else, but
right. But I find it fascinating that it was the vision in the eye was declining so fast, and drinking those juices, it's at least stopped it.
Yeah,
which is phenomenal.
Not only stopped it, but improved it slightly.
Right.
So I'd check that vision in that eye, and some things are a little bit easier to read from certain distances now.
I just, in my mind, I think how great that's going to be for when you're healing from the procedure as well, right?
Yeah.
See, it can only help.
So maybe it won't be 6 months of healing for me.
I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it, especially with your personality and how dedicated you are to doing what you need to do.
Freak about my health and my diet.
You're pretty hardcore about it. So but I can't remember any other questions off the top of my head other than, people, and I'm sure this will happen as forever and ever, but what about protein? Well, first of all, that is not my priority at the moment. Second of all, I'm actually getting more protein than you might think. The other day I counted it up, and how many grams of protein did I have that day? Was it 56 grams? I'd have to go look.
It was was it 56 or 62?
Maybe one was one was the other day.
Yeah.
So I'm actually getting a lot of, I had some juice the other day that had 8 grams of protein in it. And here's the thing, 60 grams of protein, you might be thinking, oh, that's not enough for whatever your goals are. And that's fine. Make sure you're getting more protein then. First of all, do you. But also the protein that I'm getting, my body is using up all of that. When you're cooking food, especially animal flesh, your body's not using all that protein. So you might think, oh, I'm getting 30 grams of protein. You're actually not getting 30 grams of protein.
Well, a good amount of it is just being destroyed during the cooking process.
Right.
So,
yeah. And then it's not all absorbed in your system either.
Right. So, I mean, if someone has a big steak,
right,
they think they're getting 50 grams of protein.
Right.
You're lucky if you're getting 20 or 25.
Right. So I'm just going to say my 50 to 60 grams of plant-based protein, and most of it raw, could probably go up against your 100 or somebody else's like 115 grams of protein of processed protein.
I have 150 grams a day minimum, and about 85 to 90% of that's all plant-based. So
and you're noticing that in the gym. Yeah,
absolutely.
So I am getting protein, and all the protein I'm getting is being used by my body.
Absolutely.
Or at least most
plants
of it.
have protein in them.
They do. I know people don't want to hear it. And so I'm getting a lot of protein, and the fat that I'm getting, it's just a little tiny bit of traces here and there through what I'm eating throughout the day. And then it's in either a little bit of raw tahini or avocado in like wraps or something. So, because fat is really easy to get. So that's really the only thing I'm having to watch. And now that I've realized about how much that is, it's, it's about half an avocado, 2 tablespoons of something. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Americans don't have to worry about getting enough fat.
No, obviously not. No. Look how many gallbladders are removed.
And protein as well. Protein deficiency is not anything that Americans get either.
Not usually. Yeah. And then I do take a B12 supplement. Our whole family does. And we switched recently. Do you remember the name of it? I can put it on I'll put it on our Instagram story later.
Yeah, I have to check. But it's GMP certified. And what that means is that if the FDA came in tomorrow to regulate the supplement companies, the GMP certified companies would actually pass FDA regulations. And so they are legit with the ingredients that they use and the information.
They're legitimate.
They're too legit to quit. So we got this B12 vitamin.
It's awesome because it's a little chewable and it tastes good and the kids love it.
And it's 16,667% of your RDA of B12.
Yeah.
You can't overdose on B12.
No, you can't.
But one thing I have noticed is, holy smokes, my sleep has improved 100%. It's been amazing. I've been sleeping like the dead and feeling so much better because of it.
Yeah, you've been sleeping, and which you guys is a big deal.
Yeah, me and sleep have not been friends for most of my life, so
that's awesome. And Beer Baby's sleeping better too on this supplement.
She has been sleeping fantastic.
This is a good B12.
As well. Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is a good B12. So I'll put that on my Instagram story and my Snapchat. So yes, I take B12. I take calcium, magnesium. I still take the liver supplement, but not as much. I was taking heavy doses of it in the beginning, so not as much. And I also was taking a digestive enzyme supplement from MRM. And then sometimes I have MRM's hydrate factor as well.
Yeah.
So for me, that's it. The main one I'm just making sure I get every day is the B12, and the other ones I take daily or every other day. And I'm trying to think if there's any other questions, but you guys can ask me when I post about this podcast as well, and I'll answer anything else.
Yeah.
But can you think of anything else that people have asked?
The MRM vegan bone maximizer supplement is really good.
Yeah. I personally, it's not, I don't know, when I take it, it's just too much for me. I know for you love it. Yeah.
It's got all your calcium, magnesium, vitamin D. Zinc.
And I didn't plan to share this, but since you brought it up, if you want to try any MRM stuff, you can use our code. It's all caps Harshi. Is it right?
Yeah, Harshi.
It's 40% off.
Yeah, 40% off. Yeah, you go to MRM-USA.com.
No, go ahead. Yeah, MRM-USA.com.
Yeah.
And that's not sponsored or anything, you guys.
Yeah, no.
Just throwing that out there because we brought up MRM. So I really do love their stuff.
Yeah, they are GMP certified.
They are GMP certified. And
they are too legit to quit too.
And their protein, their cinnamon bun protein is our favorite. Our girls love to put that with a little bit of coffee and almond milk and shake it up with ice. So yeah, anyways, I think that's all the questions I can think of that you guys have asked me. And that shares a little bit about the journey that I'm on. And I'm going to keep doing it. It's working. It's working for me. And I'll change things up as my body tells me it needs to. Something about eating and drinking this way is your body tells you pretty quick if something's up and so you just change it for the next thing you eat or drink and the next day. And I'm not going to give up on myself. I'm not going to anymore. And it might be one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but I'm worth it. So I'm going to keep doing it. And I just really don't care what anyone thinks or says about it because this is my body and my life and I have to live in it and I have to live my life and no one else does. So that's where I'm at.
You're good enough. You're smart enough. And doggone it, people like you.
On that note, until next time, love you guys.
Adios.